Now, changing business models and severe wage cost pressures faced by China represented a major growth window of opportunity for South Africa's domestic clothing manufacturing sector. This emerged in an interview with Johann Baard, Executive Director of the Apparel Manufacturers South Africa, and this as the world's leading retailers and buyers gather in Cape Town for the first exclusively African sourcing event, Source Africa, to see for themselves what Africa has to offer.
I can tell you, in a couple of discussions I've had with some of these buyers that you've mentioned from these companies, they are already bowled over by what they've seen. And they've made it very clear that they did not expect to see the infrastructure, the modernization that they have seen thus far in South Africa, in Cape Town in particular. But they've also made it very clear they want to take a snapshot not of South Africa and Cape Town. They want to see what Africa has on offer, because it is a footprint that they are matching in their long-term planning as a manufacturing source on a global scale, and South Africa simply on its own, even Southern Africa on its own, simply does not have the scale of economies and capacity, manufacturing capacity, to meet the demands of a market like America. It is certainly an engagement that will have to be done and developed and marketed and sold and upgraded on a continental basis. And they're very aware of that, and we are very delighted to hear that.
Yeah, but how do we make sure that they are not just taking our bales of cotton, that they actually set up factories here? You alluded to this earlier when you spoke about industrialization. How do we make them put up plants that make clothes here, so that we also have these top brands that are made and produced from Africa?
It's a question of showcasing what we can do. And I am very confident that once they've spent a couple of weeks, not only in South Africa, but they've gone to Mauritius, they've gone to Swaziland, they've gone to the likes of Kenya, Nigeria, Ethiopia, Rwanda, Zambia, Zimbabwe, Namibia, the list is endless. They will be bowled over. I'm convinced of that. They have no idea what Africa has on offer, and it is by and large our own fault that we have not taken the bull by the horns and done what we are now busy doing 10 or 15 years ago. But we are very confident that we have a value proposition that is sustainable, that is commercially viable, and that is meaningful to the international buying community.
Would you suggest to the governments that perhaps a few incentives would help encourage these guys to set up base here?
Most definitely. I think the incentives, where the incentives can help, is in terms of modernizing, where machinery is out of date and getting a bit old. That is most certainly where government support measures would be massively welcomed and would play a very significant role.
The discussions around reviving South Africa's apparel industry, including, of course, the continent, is more of a political discussion than it is a business discussion. Would you agree with that?
Well, I think it's probably a bit of both, but I have absolutely no doubt that it should be fundamentally driven by the business and the private sector in particular. And the reason I say that is that it is our responsibility first and foremost to market our capabilities as business people to foreign shores and foreign buyers. We have a very unique window of opportunity where we have noticed increasing cost pressures in China. The population profile of mainland China is such that we anticipate that going forward, their clothing manufacturing capability and capacity will increasingly be geared towards servicing their domestic market and less towards exports and servicing the demands of foreign markets. There's more money to be made if you are close to the market. You have higher stock turns, speed to market, lower inventories. So the opportunity for Africa is certainly there, and as they've said in the past, that Africa's time certainly appears to have come. We would hope that this event that we are hosting in South Africa, in Cape Town, will serve as a springboard for us to showcase not only the capacity of South Africa, but most definitely on a wider footprint within the other member states of the participating countries.
Johann, before I let you go, here's an opportunity for you to speak to our audiences and tell them what perhaps your thinking is around ensuring that the next time they go into a shop, they look for a made in South Africa, made in an Africa label.
Well, we are absolutely convinced that Africa, within the next 5 to 10 years, will prove to the international consumer market that it has a product to offer at a competitive price and at a quality and styling that is on par with anything you can find in the fashion capitals of the world.